Every single year, over 14 million people in the country aged 65 and older hit the ground. Not metaphorically, literally. They fall. And one of the most common, most preventable triggers is not a wet bathroom floor or a loose rug. It's climbing in and out of the wrong vehicle, twisting a hip, dropping into a seat that's too low, grabbing a door frame that gives way. If you or someone you love is still driving a car that forces you to fold yourself in half just to sit down, you are one bad step away from a hospital bed. Today, we are counting down the 7 SUVs that could save you from that exact nightmare, ranked from good to absolutely essential. Stay until the very end, because the number one pick is the one every senior safety expert keeps quietly recommending, and almost nobody talks about it enough. Let's start the countdown. Number 7. Mazda CX-5. The latest Mazda CX-5 measures 184.6 inches in length, up to 73.2 inches in width, and stands 66.7 inches tall across every trim level. That height is the number that matters most for you. It puts the seat close to hip level, so instead of lowering yourself down or hauling yourself up, you're doing something closer to a simple pivot and sit. Mazda also widened the door openings specifically to make entry and exit easier, which means less squeezing, less ducking, and less strain on aging knees and shoulders. Here's a story worth remembering. A retired schoolteacher named Robert, 74 years old, spent decades driving a low-slung sedan because that's just what he always drove. He never once considered an SUV like the CX-5. He assumed all SUVs were bulky, hard to park, and meant for younger families. 3 years and 2 hip strains later, after multiple falls climbing out of his sedan in icy parking lots, he finally switched. His regret wasn't the crash he never had. It was the years of pain and the 2 falls he could have completely avoided if he'd simply known this option existed. Number 6. Kia Sportage. The Sportage stretches to approximately 183.5 inches in length and about 73.4 inches in width, with a seat height that sits comfortably above most sedans. The doors open wide and square, not at an awkward angle, which means you can step straight in without twisting your spine. But the real standout number here is rear legroom, 41.3 inches, some of the most generous in its class, which means even getting into the back seat to help a spouse or grandchild buckle in doesn't require crouching or crawling. Ground clearance climbs to 8.3 inches on AWD and X-Pro trims, keeping the floor of the cabin elevated just enough that your knees aren't dropping below your hips when you sit. Kia backs the entire vehicle with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, which matters if you're buying a vehicle you intend to keep for the next decade of your life. Add standard forward collision avoidance assist with pedestrian and cyclist detection, and you have a vehicle engineered to protect you both while you're driving and while you're simply trying to get inside it. But here's the problem. The Sportage is often overlooked because people assume bigger name brand means better fit. That assumption is about to cost someone their independence, and in our next entry, it already has. Keep watching. Number 5. Hyundai Tucson. The latest Tucson measures 182.7 inches long, 73.4 inches wide, and stands 65.6 inches tall in front-wheel drive, or 66.3 inches tall in all-wheel drive. That taller AWD stance is a genuine advantage for seniors. It raises the hip point of the seat closer to standing height, cutting down the vertical drop that punishes hips and lower backs. The Tucson also rides on a lengthy 108.5-inch wheelbase, which smooths out potholes and expansion joints before that jolt ever reaches your spine, something your body will thank you for on every single errand run. Cargo space behind the rear seats reaches up to 41.2 cubic feet, expanding to over 80 cubic feet with the seats folded, so mobility aids, walkers, or wheelchairs can be loaded without a fight. In its most recent refresh, Hyundai brought back real physical knobs and buttons for climate and volume controls, undoing the all-touchscreen trend that so many older drivers found frustrating and distracting behind the wheel. Now, the story that should terrify you a little. A retired postal worker named Diane, 68, walked routes for 32 years and swore her knees were fine. She kept driving her old coupe long after her doctor warned her about arthritis setting into both hips. She never researched vehicles like the Tucson because, in her words, "I didn't know SUVs came in a size that wasn't enormous." One winter morning, she slipped getting out of that coupe, fractured her wrist bracing her fall, and spent 6 weeks unable to drive at all. She told her daughter afterward that nobody had ever explained that a taller, wider-door SUV like the Tucson could have prevented the entire accident. Lack of awareness didn't just cost her comfort, it cost her independence for over a month. Number 4. Hyundai Santa Fe. The Santa Fe measures 190.2 inches long, 74.8 inches wide, and 69.7 inches tall, making it noticeably roomier and taller than the compact class. That extra height translates directly into a higher seat position, meaning less bending, less strain, and a much easier swing in and out for anyone dealing with hip or knee replacements. The Santa Fe also offers something none of our previous entries can match: real 3-row versatility, with seating for 6 or 7 depending on trim. Higher trims swap the middle bench for 2 captain's chairs, which slide, recline, and provide dramatically easier access to the 3rd row for grandchildren or visiting family. Cargo space behind the 2nd row reaches 40.5 cubic feet, and up to 79.6 cubic feet with everything folded down, easily swallowing a walker, a wheelchair, or a week's worth of luggage. A confident 277 horsepower engine paired with available H-chassis all-wheel drive means merging onto highways or climbing steep driveways never feels like a strain, and a 110.8-inch wheelbase keeps the ride settled and composed even on rough pavement. If you thought the Tucson's height was impressive, wait until you see what claims the number 3 spot. Number 3. Toyota RAV4. The RAV4 measures roughly 181 inches in length, about 73 inches in width, and stands close to 66.5 inches tall, depending on trim. That height puts the seat at a near-perfect midpoint, high enough that you're not dropping into the cushion, low enough that you're not hoisting yourself up like climbing onto a truck bed. Combine that with a low step-in height and a wide door swing, and the RAV4 consistently ranks among the easiest compact SUVs for older adults to get into and out of without assistance. A retired accountant named Walter, 71, spent his entire career sitting at a desk and assumed his only health concern would ever be his eyesight. He never gave a second thought to how he physically got in and out of his car until his knees started failing him in his late 60s. He kept driving an old low-riding sedan because he didn't want to waste money learning some new car. He had no idea the RAV4 even existed as an accessible option. He'd only ever seen ads for it as an adventure vehicle for young hikers. 2 years of wincing every time he stood up from the driver's seat later, a physical therapist finally told him plainly, "Get a taller SUV or keep hurting yourself." He switched to a RAV4 the following month and told his physical therapist he wished someone had explained this to him 5 years earlier. Lack of awareness didn't just cost him comfort, It cost him years of unnecessary pain that a 15-minute conversation could have prevented. Number 2. Subaru Forester. The Forester measures 183.3 inches in length, 72.0 inches in width, and stands an impressive 68.1 inches tall, one of the tallest cabins in the entire compact SUV class. That height means a genuinely elevated seat position, wide-opening doors, front and rear, and one of the lowest amounts of bending or twisting required of any SUV on this list. Inside, the Forester offers 43.3 inches of front legroom and a class-leading 110.8 cubic feet of total passenger volume, meaning even larger-framed drivers or passengers with limited flexibility have room to move without feeling boxed in. Cargo space behind the rear seats sits at 29.6 cubic feet, expanding to 74.4 cubic feet with the seats folded flat, and the rear gate opens onto a wide, low-load floor, ideal for sliding in a walker or folding wheelchair without lifting it. Standard all-wheel drive comes on every single trim, which means confidence in rain, ice, and snow, a critical safety factor if a fall risk is compounded by slippery pavement. Subaru's standard EyeSight safety suite adds automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, and adaptive cruise control across the entire lineup, and the Forester consistently posts some of the strongest resale values and reliability ratings in its class, meaning the vehicle that protects your body today is also one you can count on for years to come. Number 1. Honda CR-V. The CR-V has been repeatedly named the best small SUV for entry and exit by senior advocacy groups, including AARP. The latest Honda CR-V measures 184.8 inches in length, 73.5 inches in width, and stands 66.2 inches tall in front-wheel drive, or 66.5 inches tall in all-wheel drive. But the number that truly matters here is the door opening itself. The CR-V's doors open nearly 90 degrees, not 60, not 70, nearly a full right angle. That means no squeezing your shoulder past a half-open door, no twisting your hip around a frame that's fighting you the entire way. You simply step through, sit down, and go. This is why the CR-V sits at number 1. It isn't the tallest, it isn't the widest, but it combines a hip-level seat height, a massive door swing, and decades of Honda reliability into a package that quite literally reduces the physical motion required to get behind the wheel. As we come to the end of the list, here is the truth. The vehicle you drive is not just a mode of transportation once you pass 65. It is a daily, physical test. One that can either protect your joints and your independence, or slowly wear both down without you even realizing it's happening. So, did you like the countdown? Hit the like button and subscribe for more.